Yes, what's happening, Racing World? It's another Saturday. It's another edition of the Morning Post. What a weekend we have in store for you. International all over the place. Let's do it. It is, of course, Europe's premier race tomorrow, the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Dave Orton with you for the next hour or so. Stick with us. The markets are set. The weather's done. The draw biases, they can go no more. We're going to solve all those puzzles out there for you. We'll be looking at Newmarket, of course. Group 1 action here domestically. We've got Ascot for you. We'll be going across the water. Good meeting at the Curragh. Johnny Dineen will be joining us in around about half an hour's time as well. Don't forget, this is your chance to have your say on a Saturday morning. The sun is shining out there, isn't it? Great to be on planet Earth. Let's have some fun. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe. Get your thumbs up. That's what it's all about. Keeps the lights on here at the Racing Post. And, of course, this is sponsored by William Hill. We'll be going up to their headquarters and opening up the trading floor for you, giving you some boosts. Why not? Extra places, top price guarantees, you name it. This is the place to be. And a stellar panel for you. What could possibly go wrong this morning with Seb Sanders back on the show, sitting next to the bear that is Graeme Rodway. The two grumpiest pundits I've ever worked with in my life. They're going to have a grump off. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. I hope it's not that bad.
Well,
I hope it's not that bad.
I think we're not short of an opinion in here this morning, are we?
No, I mean, look, we've got some great racing this weekend, but there's puzzles everywhere.
Yeah, the Challenge Cup it's called, isn't it? 4:30, 3:35, whatever it is at Ascot. And that is very well named, G. Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, good morning, yeah.
A little bit more enthusiastic, I'm hoping, this time around.
Yeah, a little bit more. Last week, I had the big winners like Liberty Lane and Nana. I won the staff tipping competition at work. I won it.
No one knows about it,
Was
G.
I on this show last week? No.
No one cares. It's always the way. So what you're saying is you're hot.
I'm saying I'm in good form now.
You do know how to blow the old trumpet.
I'm back.
All right.
Yeah.
OK, you're back. That's great. Who else is back? Johnny Simpson. Johnny the judge in his betting sauna. There he is, going to give us all the price of boost. Good morning to you, John. What a day. It must be busy at HQ.
Morning, Dave. A stacked weekend of racing. I have to say, if you can't find anything over the next 2 days to enjoy, you're probably watching the wrong sport. It is thoroughly looking forward to it.
Exactly that, guys. And just a quick word. Look, there's so much to aim at this weekend. You've got Grade 1s, of course, at the States on Sky Sport Racing. Probably some of you are up watching all the Group 1s this morning in Australia. Pick your targets sensibly, guys. Go small stakes, try and build it up. And with that question in mind, you know, responsible gambling, perhaps it's the ACCA weekend, John, isn't it? I'm going to ask the viewers out there, what is the best ACCA this weekend? You've got, of course, Longchamp kicking off today where the ground is drying. Illinois in the first, really short with you and everyone else, John. Then you've got King Kyprios going back for another Cadran. That'll be a double, surely.
Yeah, it's paying just about 5 to 6 at the moment. I think those two will be bankers in anyone's horse racing accumulators or cross sport accumulators this weekend.
Yeah, you've got the Curragh as well. We've got Giselle, of course, coming up. The horse that was odds on to beat Bedtime Story on its debut, of course, at Leopardstown. Not seen her since. Aidan O'Brien, massive weekend. Tell us out there. We'll get it up on the screen for you. We've got 3 producers, would you believe it, in the gallery this Saturday. An anomaly here at the Racing Post. And we are going to get some socials up for you. And, of course, the great question, which we will be trying to answer, who wins the Arc? Before that, Johnny Simpson, give me the Saturday boosts.
Yeah, so we're feeling a little bit more confident after getting Babouche well stuffed last weekend. We go to the Sun Chariot and we're going to take on the Gosden pair. We're going to go 9-2 in Spiral and we're going to go 6-1 Nashua.
Oh, there you go then. So much said about his stable form, guys, isn't there? You know, he's had like 7 favourites beat. You know, I threw to Chappers yesterday on Sky when he was at Ascot, and Chappers did a big thing about how Gosden was not getting the winners over the line. And he had, on Thursday night, had a sneaky winner at Chelmsford. That just sort of got over line. So I don't know, green shoots. Do you take any notice of stable form whatsoever, Seb?
I think with the likes of John Gosden, you have to take heed of what's going on. For John Gosden, he hasn't had a great year. For anybody else, he's had a great year. But look, he's a real good trainer, and he'll have bought these 2 horses, you know, to the track in prime condition, no matter what. But his horses aren't in great shape, so you just have to read between the lines.
Just sticking with you a little bit before I get G's take on that. And again, what do you make a stable format there? Do you just take it with a pinch of salt? He's had the winner at Chelmsford. All's not terrible, is it? It wouldn't be the year that he's really wanted. Of course, he's got Field of Gold going tomorrow, one of the big horses tomorrow. We'll get to the Longchamp card on Sunday. You worked at Chapelby's, at Charlie Appleby's. He should be called Chapelby, shouldn't he? What name? Was it? And I've been, look, let's lift the lid a little bit. I would, cross you on Sky and things like this, and we'd see each other in the corridor, and you say, Dave, there's something not right. Last year he didn't have the great year, did he?
No.
Feed and all that sort of stuff, or are we just get on with it?
I mean, I like to go back to Reg Akehurst, and when Reg Akehurst had, a plethora amount of winners, they all pretty much came at the similar sort of time. You could have run the stable Cat and it would have won. When you're looking at stables like that, Charlie Appleby's slightly different because they're all trained in different yards and whatever, and there's no sort of bias in the yards or anything. So it was hard to sort of grasp about how the well-being of the horses. But when I was with Reg Akehurst as a kid, it was as I say, I mean, the stable Cat could win.
That must have been some era. That's what you get with Seb G, you see. He said stable Cat, he said Reg Akehurst. Just before we went on air, he mentioned Carville's Hill as well. So we really are going back. Now, from a numbers perspective, stable form, just give us your lowdown on it.
Well, yeah, from a numbers perspective, it's very difficult to get a strong handle on. I always think, anyway. I mean, I know you can have your numbers of the last 2 weeks, last 4 weeks, but if you run it over a whole year, it's very difficult for a computer to actually decipher when a trainer's going to hit form or not, for example. And for that reason, I'm never too conscious of it when I'm betting. However, I did come unstuck at a significant meeting this year when Nicky Henderson went into the Cheltenham Festival and I was saying, oh, don't worry, he'll get it right on the day. Well, he didn't get it right on the day. He was absolutely awful. So it can be a factor, can't it?
Yeah, and hot yards as well. I mean, Joseph O'Brien at the moment, Al Rifford tomorrow in the big one. Sort of Atlantic Coast winning at St Cloud yesterday. Yeah, anything he's running at the moment, Dylan Brown McMonagle, they're a real combination. So who's hot, who's not? What do you take as stable form? What's your best acca this weekend? And who wins the Arc? We'll get it up on the socials for you. Now, shall we have a look at what you can get in your Racing Post this morning as we whittle on with pace on the Morning Post. Great to have you with us this morning, guys. If you're just waking up and joining us along, welcome. Or inspiring, look at that. I often see all red, of course. Is this the final swan song for Inspiral, the William Hill Boost? Of course, they're coupling, they're dutching, if you like. Look at this, Graeme Rodway. Not often we get the second page with Rodway. Old favourites, Inspiring and Nashwa head the ratings, but can they perform to their best? Well, you can read what Rodders is saying there. And here we have the Smart View card. It was a good winner for Smart View last week, of course, 97%. If they just keep it simple, all the algorithms go in. Inspiral wins the Sun Chariot at Newmarket. Johnny Dineen will give you a Saturday column coming up. Oh, yes, of course, he's gone for apples or Brazil. Really good read that with Johnny this morning. John will be joining us in around about 20 minutes' time. The Sizzler, here he is. Keel, see the fire for what it's worth. I think she's got a great chance too. Let's have a look. What else is he going for? United Approach, of course, in the challenge. That's an interesting horse with headgear on. Corker. Looks a corker for Brilliant Burke. Well, he is brilliant, isn't he? Carl Burke and Tom Siegel. We'll give you this premium content. Redcar 2-year-old trophy as well. Goes for the well-back Northern Ticker for Michael Dodds as well. That is your paper roundup. We are just about to draw breath and have some Saturday previews. Stay ahead of the field. Right, shall we do that? We've got some pace, haven't we, on the Morning Post this morning. Great to have you with us. We kick off the first of our big weekend previews. I counted 11 races. We've not even talked about anything, of course, at Longchamp this Saturday as well. Right, we kick off then. It's a fillies handicap. Johnny the judge. This is where we can't be beaten on price either, right?
It is. This is our opening top price guarantee race, so we will not be beaten on price. We are 100 to 30 Minhuna, 30 to 2 Noisy Jazz, and the money horse is Carmology. She is 8 from 12 to 1.
8 from 12s. And who was it that mentioned Carmology to me this morning? Was it you, Seb?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the one you like, Burke? I mean, he's having a can't get any better, can it, for Carl at the moment?
No, I mean, he had a great winner in the Cambridgeshire.
1, 2, 3 in the Air Gold Cup.
Yeah.
He's taking the mickey, isn't he?
The beauty of what they did in the Cambridgeshire last week was they went up what I call the Golden Highway, which is up that far rail, where I nicked a few races. Trust me, I nicked a few races, and I imagine they'll use that to their benefit again today.
Yeah.
Obviously, the horse is in good form, but it's a really competitive race, and it's whoever turns up on the day. I think there's some very good horses in there.
Yeah, okay, all right. We've got a Haggis horse at the head of the market. You know me, I'll be drawn to them. Hat-trick seeking Minhua. What does Graeme Rodway like?
Yeah, I mean, I thought keep it simple and back the fav. Get off to a winning start. Haggis, I tend to think they like soft ground, Haggis horses. I mean, certainly these horses tend to come to themselves at this time of year. He had a fantastic strike rate in the middle of October last year when literally everything was winning. They recorded a really good time last time at Sandown. Very lightly raced, might be improving. You know, when you see a big time on a lightly raced horse out of nowhere last time out, just suggests they might be going forward very quickly. So I thought keep it simple, but it's ultra competitive race. I mean, you know, I like to say over jumps, Mullins doesn't miss. You know, but when the money comes to Burke horses, they don't miss very often, do they? And there's a lot of money for this Carmology, isn't there, Johnny? The
Burke's Bullseye. Where are we going? Come on, we're headline makers.
Burke's Bullseye.
Burke's Bullseye. All right, Burke for Bullseye. Yeah, absolutely love it. Okay, all right, that's the first race at Newmarket. Carmology the tip?
No,
Okay.
No, I've gone for an outsider. I've gone for Queen of Soldiers.
Hang on.
Rog
variant.
First
time blinkers.
First time blinkers.
Tyler Hurd.
Now, this horse has been fancied every time it's ran. It bumped into Nikhil first time out that won the Park Hill at Doncaster.
I think we're all doing that out there going, oh, this is the thing that always goes on odds on.
Look, this is, you know, it's probably more of an each way selection, but I think it has decent enough form, and if the blinkers can just put an edge to it, I think it has more than enough in hand to get on top of you.
Yeah, it must have been doing something right, wasn't it? Was it on the all-weather? I think it was 6th, wasn't it, on its second last start when it was fancied by everyone and ran stinker when they put the blinkers on. And a value play then and a fav in the first for you. Let's move on. Starters you mean to go on. Hills is the place to be. Of course, don't forget those booths are live now in the Sun Chariot, which will be coming up. The Cumberland Lodge as we switch to Berkshire. What a day we're having there. And last year's winner, Al Kareem, he's basically repeating the same pattern, Johnny, isn't he? Won the race at Chester. Bluestocking, he saw off in that last year. It was easy stuff. Is he coming up against one here? The market suggests so.
Yeah, we think so. We've taken a little bit of a view here. We're going to be taking on Al Kareem. I think that Chester form was really poor. There was certainly no Bluestocking in that field. We're going to side, even though it's favourite, Al Azi, I think he's rock solid here. A little bit of cut in the ground will be ideal. Has been a little bit of money for God's Window. I know he's been called a few names this season, but I thought he did shape better than the bare results at Kempton. He's 15-2 from 10.
Yeah, he's been put up in the Naps table today in the Racing Post by a very shrewd unit here. God's Window. He's had a long season, hasn't he? But it was one time Derby Hope. Now, it's all been very polite and very lovely so far. Is this our potential first dust-up? Because it is a head-to-head. Seb in the Al Azi corner. You have probably got the biggest puncher around, Al Kareem in your corner. Why does Al Kareem see off Al Azi and do it again?
I can't wait for this race, Dave, because I only see it going one way. I can see Al Azi, he's going to be coming there. Seb's going to be coming there, hard on the bridle. He's going to be looking around, he's going to go, aye, this is one. And then all of a sudden, Al Kareem's just going to keep battling on. He's such a battler. He's one of the toughest in training, Al Kareem. He loves a stiff 1.5. Round Ascot be absolutely perfect for him. I just can't wait to see Al Azi coming there on the still and then Al Kareem turning him away.
Absolutely fabulous. Well, the socials are pouring in, guys, before we go to Seb to retort on that as well. David Lloyd, welcome from Paris. All on Al Riffa, says David Lloyd. Happy days. Keep the community coming. Seb, your chance to retort here. Last year's race, Al Kareem got to the front, was headed by Isra, a subsequent Wolverton winner, and then came back and beat him again. You think this is better than Isra and will just go, whoosh, see you later?
I think Al Azi is better than Al Kareem. The only negative is if Al Arcee eyeballs it.
Here we go.
Al Arcee just needs to
Get you in the trenches. You're in trouble here, Sanders, I tell you.
Al Arcee just needs to get past Al Kareem and quick. You've got to treat it like a Mark Johnson horse.
Come on, how would you ride him?
You're in trouble here, Sanders.
Al
Fans.
Arcee.
Like he's riding it.
Huh?
How would you ride him? To beat a horse like Al Kareem, who you know it's just going to keep fighting.
Get past him quick and try and stay wide of him. Bit like what they did with the Giants Causeway and whatever. Get past him quick. Don't.
I told you he
eyeball
likes to
it.
go back. It's like
Do not eyeball it, because if you eyeball this horse, he is an out-and-out battler. He always, when I've seen him win, he always looks beat. And he always gets back up.
we should talk about jockey bookings here, because if Jim Crowley was on, who presumably rode his ride last year, I can't remember that. Obviously, he would have gone home, Jim, that night, wouldn't he? And gone, I went too soon. It's Al Kareem, you know what I mean? I've given him a chance to come back. Kieran Fallon takes the ride. Surely, Mr. Haggis is saying, you've got one go at this. Just go late, near the line. He won't be able to come back.
Look, I've rode for William Haggis at Ascot. I know what sort of orders he'll give Kieran, and I reckon that's what they'll mainly discuss. Not giving any ground away, but when you take on Al Kareem, make sure you get past it.
Isn't
and
that
properly.
fabulous? Yeah, great stuff. Great insight from Seb there. So you know what Mr. Haggis will be saying to Kieran. Can he do it? That's the question. One of the great matchups of the weekend. This will come in the 2:25 in the Cumberland Lodge. Ding, ding. Al Kareem wins again.
All the way.
And strong.
Nap.
On Al Arcee. Oh, he's gone nap early.
Nap.
All right, that'll be boosted for you at the end of the show. We'll see what price we get then. Stick around. Let's move on back to Newmarket. We go. It's the first Group 1 of plenty this weekend coming up. Something of a cut-up field here, Johnny the Judge. The two Gosden horses. I mean, Inspired at 7-2. If you told me at the start of the season that these 3-year-olds would be ahead of her in this race, I would have laughed. But, of course, it's not been plain sailing. This is her swan song. Nashwa doesn't seem to be able to give it away as well. Amalka, the classic winner in the pack, 15-2. You're strong on Tamfana.
Yeah, we're taking a strong view on the 3-year-olds there. We're going to, obviously with the boosts in Spiral and Nashwa, we're working to keep all the 3-year-olds on side and lay the Gosden pair. In Spiral, for me, she's had 3 goes this year. Looks ever increasingly moody. I know it was a little bit better last time, but it just wouldn't be for me at the prices here. See the Fire is the money horse here, 3 from 9-2.
All right, so a couple of 3-year-olds holding sway in the market at the minute. Were you surprised that Amalka's 15-2? I mean, she beat. I know Tamfana was a little bit unlucky in the kiddies, but that's a big price discrepancy, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, you'd have thought she'd have been a good bit shorter. And there's no real strong fancy for the race as such.
Did you win this race?
No, I rode in it a couple of times, but it's... yeah.
Champion Classic winning jockey, of course. I had every right to say that.
When I got to October, there was slim pickings. Everything had ran.
You were thinking about the November meeting one year, of
No,
course.
we were thinking about next year in May.
Is that right?
Pretty
Is that right?
much,
You're pretty
yeah.
much done. The Bahamas and Stevie Donahoe wait for me. Yeah.
I've done all my work, and it was
Yeah.
more concentrated for the year after.
Great insight. All right, Seb, who do we like here? Paul Keeley in his Saturday Scissors column is strong on Cedar Fire. It's a horse that Paul got right last time at York. She got Oshin out of trouble. I like her coming in here. I think the drawing ground is in her favour. She was a 6-1 shot at the start of the week. I think she's into 3s when the field car. She'll do for me. Are you with me or going to go elsewhere?
Look, I'm with Tamfana. I think she brings the strongest form. The one that interests me is Inspiral. I thought that was a really good run in behind Sharon last time, and that puts her in the ballpark. On ratings alone, that run in France, it suggests that she's going to be in the dust up at the end of the race. The big problem with the race is pace. Darnation is the lightly pace angle, and I'm not sure it can go quick enough.
Well, that is a proper slopper, isn't it, Darnation? Like a top-class slopper. She got her Group 3 in Germany, I think, didn't she, earlier in the season when it was, you had to go to Hoppy Garden for the ground. So that might be the pace in the race.
I think the pace of the race might not suit Inspiral.
Do you think Mr. Gosden will be having to say about this? Your distant uncle. He's related to Gosden, you know?
Through marriage, yeah.
Through marriage.
I'm married into the Gosden
It's
family.
one of the strangest uncoverings we've ever had in this studio. And fun enough, Mr. Gosden's never come on for an interview as a result.
Can't blame him, can you?
Can't really blame him, no.
I think it's a fascinating race, this one, because El Malka is the only horse that's won a Group 1 this season in the field, but yet she's the second biggest price on the board, which is nuts. However, Tamfana would surely have beaten her with a bit more lucky running, I think, in the 1,000 guineas, and appears to be like the now filly, and I like the now filly at this time of the year because you want, for me anyway, I want to see a filly at this time of year going forward, not going backwards, and I think she reminds me an awful lot of Saffron Beach, who was beaten in the Guineas and then came on to win this race, having looked really good at Sandown previously. So I think got a very, very good profile for the race, Tamfana. When you look at Inspiral, Johnny, the judge, I think is right. She hasn't looked great all season as she's getting older. And also, in the back of your mind, also with Nashwa as well, is coming back off breaks. What's Gosden got in mind for these videos? Does he want to go to the US with them?
Well, I mean, that's what I thought with Nashwa. This was a good way of getting a gallop into a, which is like 3 gallops in the morning, having a race to maybe head off to America.
Well, of course, if you remember last year, Inspiral bounced back in France. Seb says that's not the worst run, despite the fact he didn't please everyone. She's got tendencies to break a bit awkwardly, hasn't she? That's been a thing. Social's coming on the screen, I've been told. Let's hold this. It's a social. It's coming up. It's Leachy again. I say again because Tom is like, he's the king of the community, Leachy is. He says Nashwa is having a prep for Champions Day. Interesting. All right, we'll get into that. Hasn't run since Dubai months ago. Have a look at her in the paddock before backing her. Very, very good point. You think this might be, you're sort of with Leachy then, you think it might be a stepping stone?
Yeah, I mean...
Group 1 stepping stone.
Just at the market, I mean, on her Falmouth run last year, she has every chance, but she hasn't shown that sort of form for a long time.
Yeah.
She hasn't ran for, 189 days? I imagine... You know, I was waiting for a market support this morning.
Not come.
And it hasn't came. So I'd be very surprised. I mean, the big problem with this race is pace.
Yeah.
And Inspiral need a good gallop.
Because they were thinking after the Breeders' Cup last year. That's where I was going, by the way, before the social came in. France won this last year. 10 to 11 on when winning it last year. And trolling Johnny the Judge Simpson, I think was the only boost that got sunk for William Hill. On Breeders' Cup Day, they boosted her out and Frankie came and did on the line, didn't he? Was it Warm Heart he beat on the line? Absolutely brilliant. I was thinking, well, that's surely her target again. Is the fact that they're sort of saying this is her last one, sort of almost admitting that she's probably beyond that? Maybe Nashwa is the one for the States.
Well, yeah, it looks to me like it's a prep run for something, whether it be the States.
She could be very good in the States because she does pull hard, doesn't she? And they will go a gallop.
She travels like
you see, you take that's out of context really, because they go hard on the dirt, but not on the turf.
Really?
Yeah, most of the races on the turf I see, especially like international races, the pace of the races in general, especially around 2 turns, is not that strong. They might go quick into the first turn, but then they'll drop anchor.
If you've got a horse like Nashwa, you think, well, we'll go to the States, we'll get a gallop and we'll settle, you know. But Seb's
But you think of John Gosden. I mean, I remember him in Ravens Pass, who barely got further than a mile here, got a mile and a quarter. He even tried Oasis Dream over a mile when he'd won the Nunthorpe. And Inspire ran her best race over a mile and a quarter. But that's because they've got 2 turns and it just tempers their speed.
It's a turn of foot horse, okay. All right, well, that's interesting.
I'm quite strong to Tamfana, one of my best bets today. But the one thing that is in the back of my mind is Colin Keane's riding here. Right, he's only got a 5% strike rate in Britain the last 5 seasons. Right, is he actually any good? I mean, everyone in Ireland,
absolutely madness.
Do you know
everyone in Ireland tells me how great he is. When he comes over to England, he can't ride a winner.
He had a winner at Royal Ascot, didn't he?
He did. But there was a lot said about it before that. Of course, he's had sort of, what was it called, Crystal Black, wasn't it? Of course, or Grey Horse. We can see that in the Melbourne Cup potentially. Anyway, look, we digress slightly. He says Colin Keane can't ride. That means you're dumbing down your tip.
I'm giving him a chance today, Colin Keane. This is his big time to make the breakthrough in Britain. Come on, Colin Keane.
I'm sure that's going to fill him with the confidence he needs, Graeme. All right, okay, Tamfana, strong. Seb, tip? Tamfana, double. After all that, we're agreeing on Tamfana. See the fire, I'm with Gills. So 2 trains of thought. Let us know your tips in the column. We'll try and get some more socials coming up. We've got to move on, though. Now it's the Redcar 2-year-old trophy. And you often get a range of abilities here, Johnny. And we often get a draw that says we need to be far side. Now, that's low numbers. Billboard star for Eve Johnson Houghton brings one of the RPRs you need in the race to win it. I thought Francisco's Peace was the only other one. He's been weak for Adrian Keatley. They've both got fair draws, but a big buzzer to my eyes, Paul Mulrennan loves this guy. It's Northern Ticker.
This is the William Hill 2-year-old trophy, and we're going 5 places here. Ordinarily, you would usually see a fair spread of business, but the front 3 in the market have all just continually got shorter. This Northern Ticker was put in double figures, 12 or 14 on Monday, and it's just been one-way traffic. This will be one of the worst results of the day so far.
I'm covering Redcar later for the Post, do the close-ups, I'm doing some analysis as well. And I'm expecting to write a lot of far side winners. It has become a very big draw track, isn't it? Low draw, low draw, low draw.
Like that for a while.
Did you ever win this race?
Second and third.
Sorry to bring it up.
Violet and Krypton Factor.
Blimey. Oh, I remember Krypton Factor. He was a very good 2-year-old. Okay, if Seb was going to get that third, second, one, what would it be this year?
Uncle Don.
For Fahy?
For Fahy. I think he comes into this on the upward curve. Got beat by Star Memas last time, and Star Memas has impressed me every time it's ran. Wasn't the quickest away last time. Got I wouldn't say one of the quickest away. Got hampered after about 20 yards. I think this is crying out for the 6 furlongs, and apart from a Billboard Star, it's only the only other horse that's likely to break 3 figures.
Got another social coming through, and it's an in-house social. David Jennings has obviously been watching keenly this morning, and he's taken umbrage with you, Rodders, unsurprisingly. Tell Rodders, he hasn't got a clue. This is not the first time that this has irked David Jennings. Keen is mustard. Coleman's
When are we going to
mustard.
see it?
Stats don't lie, do they?
Stats don't lie. When are we going to see it?
I mean, you don't mind putting the boot into a jock.
No, I mean, I feel for Colin Key because he absolutely rides winner after winner in Ireland.
Yeah.
He comes over here and nothing seems to go right for him. But it can happen like that. It can turn quite quickly.
And the turncoats that they are, they're both backing him, of course, in the Sun Chariot.
We've got someone to
DJ
blame,
can hear
haven't
from
we?
you.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good race of favourites, this, isn't it? Last 2 have won, guys. The Dragon leader, 4-7 on, do you remember? Uncle Don, then. What are we looking about Uncle Don? Remind me, let's get the market up, guys. You're getting 5 places here as well with Hills. Happy days to William Hill. Redcar Trophy. Thank God Johnny the Judge is here. Uncle Don is... Let's get the market up, guys. Producers, there's 3 of them out there. There we go. Let's get it up. Midnight Strike, not bothered about him, although Joseph Patrick O'Brien is in marvellous form. Here it comes. Uncle Don 7-2. That's a bit short than I thought it would be, Seb. But all right, okay. Uncle Don, G.
Uncle Don again. Massive eye catcher.
Ooh.
Someone's been looking over the notes. Someone's been, and there's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them.
It's like to show everyone, Seb. Look at this.
It's got rings.
Bold and everything. Seb, I'll tell you what, I hope your secretary's on good ways, mate. Absolutely remarkable. He's even got yellow as well, but EPs and everything on there. That's impressive. We have seen a lot of notes in this studio over the years. All right, so Uncle Don just does the business. Give us your case.
Yeah, massive eye catcher, wasn't he, behind Star of May? He was left with an awful lot to do that day, and he really flew home. He ran on very, very strongly. That was over 5, wasn't it? So going up to 6 here, I think it'll really suit him. And he's open to loads of improvement. A really good figure as well last time out, which I like. I like horses that finish fast off a strong pace. If you're going hard all the way and then you're still coming home well, you must have a decent amount of ability, I think. However, it's a good race, isn't it? I mean, there's 2 or 3
It's a
up
good
there.
race, but I mean, you mentioned the air race. The air track is very similar to Redcar. It's a pace track, and for a horse to come off the speed over 5 furlongs like he did against a horse I think is very good, Star of Memas, I thought it was an excellent run.
It's just
it's
a great
crying
day,
out
this,
for
isn't it?
6
Because
furlongs.
this is Redcar's big day, and it is a good race. And these 2 wise gentlemen, I'll reach for that one, wise gentlemen that have been having a grump off, they're feeling positive about not just Tamfana, but Uncle Don as well. Perhaps you'll double that up. All right, you're getting 5-2 and 7-2 then. Uncle Don to take it out. I can see the Northern Ticker thing, guys, and I remember Paul Mulrennan getting him off him at Carlisle last time and said it's the best horse I've ridden for some time. I don't think it's the best bet at Redcar, though. Stick around for that at the end of the show. Right, let's move on. We've got 11 races to get through, and with, I think, quite good pace. Johnny Dineen, by the way, guys, is waiting in the wings. We'll get John on as soon as he's ready. And we go to the BetMGM Challenge Cup. It's a heritage handicap. Now, it starts off this at the Victoria Cup, of course, John. We go Hunt Cups, all that sort of stuff. We saw it last month in the International. This is building up to the Balmoral. What do the punters like here? All week, I've just seen Keir out at the top.
Yeah, we're playing 5 places here. It's one of the 7 furlong Ascot handicaps that we seem to see the same set of horses every month. Kirat is 130 from 5, and there's a big move for Potmaster, who's 9 from 14. I will give a little mention to Brewing at 20 to 1 for the famous Barbaro colours. I thought he ran a race full of promise at Doncaster off a break. I think he can go well at 20 to 1.
All right, great stuff. This is the challenge. Did you ever win this?
No, do you know what? I was looking through this race last night. I might have won it, but I couldn't find it. I was going through this race, and I finished second when it was ran at Newmarket. And back in 10th was a horse called Les Arcs.
Right, okay, is that right? Yeah. Marvellous.
It's won a Jubilee and a...
Who trained Les Arcs? Who was it trained? Oh,
Par, was it?
Oh, yeah, it was a proper horse, wasn't it? I remember
Yeah.
it went on that massive spree,
Yeah.
didn't it? Yeah, all right, look, this is a serious puzzle, this. Yesterday, we thought low numbers when we were previewing it, you know, and probably you guys as well. After the decks had come out, you're thinking maybe low's the way to go. Well, Chris Nichols says yesterday, when interviewed by Matt Chapman on Sky, I'm not sure that's going to be the place to be. I probably am expecting it to run about good to soft. Of course, it was soft during the week. It was heavy on the round course yesterday in places, drying all the time. Will it be high numbers? Let's see what the panel like. Graeme, Rodway.
Yeah, I think I've got a bit of theory on the draw here. It's not the umbrella one. You know, it's not the big umbrella that
He thinks
shelters
that
on the
the
side.
stand goes over like an umbrella and makes it quicker on the...
Yeah, like a big umbrella, so the rain hits the stand, and then the stand side rail, as a result, comes up faster.
I have to
See
say,
it time and
I have
time
to say,
again
I've
on
been doing this
soft
now
ground.
for a long time.
Time
How
and
many
time again you see
times
it.
you been to Ascot?
You see it time and again, like
How
that
many
Victoria
times?
Cup
How many
meeting.
About as many
times.
times as you, Seb, I reckon.
You used to go to the old Ascot.
I know. I wrote it. No, I mean, look. In ideal world, in these big handicaps, I'd always want to be stand side, but the sweet spot looks down low. Unfortunately, it does look down low. I've got pace angles with Mersky drawn in 18, which is high, and Germanic drawn low. But I think the plethora of good horses that are in good form at the moment are drawn down low.
Yeah,
I don't
pace
know.
is
I don't know
interesting,
how. I can't work out what's drawn high.
Maybe Potmaster, who Johnny
Yeah.
tells us has seen a bit of that. He never used to make the running, but he has had some success doing it. Ed Walker, Safi Osborne, of course, she always seems to pop up. But yeah, pace is potentially an issue.
in
Now, we
this-
saw what happened last time this was the case in one of these handicaps. Something made all, didn't
This
it?
is the
Which
day,
unheard
though.
of.
This is the day at Ascot where, like, Champions Day is 2 weeks, isn't it? And what they tend to do at this meeting in particular is they bring the rails
they do.
in on both sides to save ground either side, and as a result, the straight is really compacted. Like, you know, they'll be a lot closer together here than they will be in the Balmoral in
If
2
you're there
in 2
today
weeks.
and you're looking over from one of the bars or one of the boxes, if you're lucky enough, you will be surprised at how short that configuration, how narrow it is.
So I think they might actually will go in one group here because the straight's just not that wide
more
with
faith than
what
I
they
have.
do. So I'm on Germanic. Again, another haggis horse.
Yeah.
Is this another one for you?
Yeah.
Is it really?
No way.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I can see these notes from a mile off, Graeme.
I've got very good
You've
eyes.
obviously... I haven't done my own work. I better... Oh, here we go. Seb's got it all.
Well, it was third last time at Donny, wasn't it? The fourth was won since Spanish Blaze. It was a really good time.
Yeah.
It's only had 4 runs. I said earlier I like haggis at this time of year. I don't think his horses have a problem with soft ground. I just think the horse has got loads of upside to him in a race where there's a lot of exposed horses.
Yeah, I agree with you. He looked the most straightforward horse in the race. I think they'll bounce him out and they'll be handy, if not making it down that far side. And he looks a very progressive type.
I'm going to chuck one in. United approach here. Clifford Lee takes over from Billy Loughnane. Watch him back in your members club last time. I backed him at Ascot. He gets nutted on the line, I think. He cocks his head to one side when Billy goes for him. He pulls him out, slowly getting there. He definitely looked to one side and he threw it away. They're putting cheap pieces on and they got Mr. Clifford Lee on, who's having a great time of it in a minute. And Johnny, to my eyes, Gills put this up yesterday as well. It does look a lot shorter than when I last saw it. Either that or you're ducking it.
Yeah, there has been a little bit of each way support for it. 12 from 18 he was initially put in.
Yeah, all right, great stuff. Okay, there you go. So Germanic all the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It means you're going into battle or something like that, doesn't it? It feels like we're
We're
going
either
into-
going to have a great day or an awful one.
Well,
Yes. I know which way I'm coming down on there. I mean, And what you said earlier is marvellous. You're in trouble here, Sanders, in the trenches. Absolutely magnificent. You're ending up on Germanic.
I'm worried about the umbrella over Ascot.
As I was about to say, I've done
Big
this.
umbrella.
I've done this a lot with you.
Stickles, get his big umbrella out.
It depends which way the wind's blowing, doesn't it?
Honestly, don't. It'll make you go fuzzy up top. I've been doing this a long time with you. And when you get someone like Seb who comes in, when I said that to him, I thought to myself, it sounds utterly ridiculous, man. But I've given you airtime with this before.
Well, because it's true. Go back and look over the results on soft ground at Ascot. High draw sends to Excel. Go, and if you want to look at wind, go to windy.com. You ever been to windy.com?
No.
Yeah, windy.com tells you exactly which direction the wind's coming from at Ascot or whichever.
I always,
track you're on.
I always look at the wind at Newcastle actually to see when the stands rail's going to be.
I wondered where you were going when you said windy.com, G. I'm not going to lie.
Well, when you said umbrella, I thought you were going to mention Steve McLaren.
The Wally with a brolly.
Yeah, well, the Wally with the Wally on the Morning Post. All right, great stuff. That is the Saturday previews done. We've got Johnny Dineen coming on after this, and we'll be looking ahead to Sunday. There you go. WhatsApp, G, Tom, Paul, Robbie, all of them. They'll be available to you on the Insider. Absolutely love that. OK, now, can we go across the Irish Sea? Is he there? Mr. Dineen, come in, Johnny Dineen. There he is, pretty in pink and everything. I hear you've had to do an update on your PC, John. The morning's going well.
Yeah, and I'm not great at that kind of stuff, to be honest.
Great. Well, listen, what you are great at, John, is giving us your opinion. You've probably been listening to the show. It's been great fun so far. We've got the two grumpy men on the sofa. Are you feeling positive about the weekend? Tell us everything about the curry, your best bets. I've actually read your column like many this morning, John. You're giving another chance to apples in Brazil, right?
Yeah, I am. But look, I just think maiden hurdles this time of the year, they're weak enough, and it's kind of like before the bigger guns come out, he has a window of opportunity now for a week or two, and otherwise he's going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? So look, I think he probably would have won in Galway. He probably would have, if he had to jump to second last hurdle, which is the pivotal hurdle in Galway anyway, always is. And you can either win a race or be put out of the race at that point. And he actually put himself out of contention, to be honest. He ran okay to finish third. I think this is probably a weakish race, and it's a golden opportunity. It's basically, if he's going to win a maiden hurdle, it's now or. Well, I wouldn't say now or never, but he won't win for a while if he doesn't win today.
That's basically what you said in your column, John. It's now or never. You said this is it.
Yeah.
All right. So he's hardened up with Hills, unsurprisingly. He's a shade of odds on now. We can double him up with the winning machine that is Kiprios. All right. That's at Gowran Park. That comes in the 2:30. Before we get a sniff of the colour with you, Johnny, you've probably been listening to some of the show. Well, what did you make of Rodder's comment about Colin Keane? Said he comes over, he can't ride.
Oh no! Look, everyone has opinions about jockeys. I think there's two standout jockeys in Ireland, Keane and Lee. And I think if they were riding in England on a regular basis, they'd be as good as anyone, in my opinion. I think see Keane as a positive for Tamfana today. Like if you can't get Murphy, Keane is as good as anyone, I think. And like English guys get more opportunities to show their wares, and they get more rides and ride more winners. But if Keane was to ply his trade in England on a constant basis, he would be up there with the likes of Oisin Murphy. He's already up there with Ryan Moore. You can see it in Ireland that like Ryan Moore like has some good battles with the likes of Keane and Billy Lee, but they are two quality jockeys in my opinion. I'd have no problem having Colin Keane riding any horse of mine anyway, to be honest. And like if you look down through the jockeys in that race, there's definitely 3 or 4 of them, and it wouldn't hold his coat anyway, for starters.
Unlike the Wally with the brolly he's tipped him in that race as well, so of course he thinks he can ride. Johnny, right, Curragh today. Really interesting card there. A lot of people, of course, might be wanting to put your apples of Brazil, Kiprios, Illinois or whatever, in with Giselle, of course, who comes back in the 140. That's been hammered. Of course, we all remember her debut.
Yeah, look, at Brennan Blinder against Bay type story. It was great talk of it that day too. It's off a while. I didn't realise it had been had been hammered in the bet. And has it been hammered, David? Has.
Yeah, 4-7 now, John. Was odds against yesterday.
I suppose that's a good sign that everything's going well with her. Look, you'd have to think that if she's on her A game, if she's as good as she was that day, that form would be a standout. The race like this, there is still 16 horses against her, or that kind of a number of animals against her, and there's a lot of newcomers in it too. It's a skinny one I'd let go at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not totally surprised about that, John. I mean, the absence is the answer.
That has to be of some concern at the same time. You know what I mean? It definitely does, and like it's apparently as well. She has developed a trait of being a bit keen. So on slower ground and first run back, I think I'd leave her win.
She's out in 17 there as well. Really good card of the cover. What else do we like in Ireland today, John?
Look, the first race is I like betting in 3-year-old hurdles, especially if they have a run over hurdles. Like Captain Bay, he's no Gale of Win, but he has 2 runs over hurdles, 2 respectable runs too. Stays fairly well, won't have any problem with slower ground, and take it on horses there that have never run over hurdles. It's a big plus, even though they might have more of an upside to them long term. But you're not betting long term; you're betting on the day. And I think whatever beats Captain Bay will win that first race. I thought 5-2 was fair, though, to be honest. Like the Gigaton horse only won a claiming hurdle in France. That wouldn't be like that wouldn't be like a wonderful, like, kind of a, whatever you like to call it. Basically, what I'm saying is like that he didn't cost like 400,000 anyway out of a claiming hurdle, so he can't be that good. And the other one is 1.25 miles, maybe a mile and a half, but he still has to run first time out of hurdles. And you saw one first day of Joseph O'Brien yesterday in Gore and come to the first hurdle and put the brakes on and throw the jockey out over the hurdle. So like that can happen in those races too. Look, I just think experience counts for a lot. I'd be amazed if one of those 3 don't win, and at 5-2, I'd chance him. I'd also go with Apples in Brazil, and that looks a nice horse to go chasing with there. The Brommet horse in the second last race, the Mossy Park or Mossy Park Fen, yeah. He'd find big horse anyway, and he'd go on the ground probably better than in Canto Bruno, who's probably capable of winning novice chase. That could be dangerous in a novice chase if they keep it for better ground. I'd have given it a chance here on better ground, but the ground looked slow there yesterday to me, and I'd be slightly leaning the other way towards Mossy Fen Park now. And in the Curragh, I wouldn't back Giselle myself, even though it obviously can win. Of course it can win. I was going to give Presence one more chance in a handicap there. I backed her in Bellestown and I backed her in Punchestown as well. And look, there's definitely a hint that she has ideas about the game, but I'd give her one last chance now. And this is now or never for me anyway, with her anyway, for sure.
Okay, because of course you're looking towards Garum Park. Obviously, we've got so much racing. It wasn't that long ago that Sizing Europe slipped in this weekend and took the Grade 2 chase out. We've got San Ra coming back as well. What are your feelings about him?
Yeah, look, I kind of like San Ra. The favourite in the race. At least he's run lately. I don't like horses like, especially staying chases, making their seasonal debuts. They tend to come on for the run. So a horse that's been to Galway, like he ran twice in Galway, so at least he's been on the go and he's relatively fit, and you could say the same about the Mullins horse, but that's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde, that horse, the Mullins horse, that makes the running belong to Ed Ware. He's a horse that either wins or blows out completely, and if he gets harried for the lead, he's not really in love with it. And I'd be going with St. Roy, but like he is rising 9 years of age now at the same time, but I think he's got a very good chance at the same time.
Classy jumps card then, the likes of Conflated, Grade 1 winner San Ra coming back. That is in Ireland today. Johnny, stick around. We're going to have a look at the races at Longchamp now tomorrow for the punters out there. And again, really good pace to the show this morning. We're on 22:11. Welcome along if you're just joining us on the Morning Post. Like and subscribe. That's what it's all about. Let's hear from you out there. What wins the Arc? What's the best multiple? You've been given loads of tidbits. I want to get them towards the end of the show. Right, here we go. It is, of course, the Marcel Boussac. Absolutely superb. Kicking off the card of cards tomorrow, 12:55 at Longchamp. We'll be watching this, of course, on ITV, Sky Sports Racing. It's there. And 10-11, that's interesting. This looks like a proper matchup. I think the panel are going to get excited about this. Is this the next second coming? Zaragana, Johnny the Judge.
Well, this is our top price guarantee race, so 10-11 won't be beaten. Now, Dave, this is a horse that you mentioned about 2 or 3 months ago when she made a debut, so no pressure here. We've added her in at 16-1 for the Oaks and 20-1 for the Guineas. Obviously, that is a little bit bigger than we would usually do for a horse of this potential ability. Obviously, you've got the factor in whether she will actually come over to the UK or not. I'll be siding with Bedtime Story here. If you can give her a pass for the colour, she'll be reported lame. I think 72 is probably big enough for a horse of her ability.
Wow, I mean, what a race this is going to be to start us off tomorrow. We spoke about this coming in. We do a lot of French racing together on Sky.
Yeah.
This does look the model. Of course, we've got Zarkava, the Grand Dame. More scope, said Francis Henri Graffard. She's looked the real deal. 10 to 11, you're not going to beat it.
She's a bit special, but she's got a very special horse on her hands. I was at Royal Ascot when Bedtime Story won. I was stood next to Jamie Lynch and Jim McGrath, and their reaction after the race, and they were both on their phones, obviously clicking up all stats and whatever.
And ante-post prices.
And they were like, "Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that!" And I was like, well, you know, I with my eyes, I knew it was something special.
Well, she looked like her dad, didn't she,
But-
Bedtime Story? Let's concentrate on her then before we go to the great
Yeah.
French, second coming potentially. Last time, lame, favourite for the Moyglare. Lake Victoria, of course, she's now gone to the top of the 2-year-old fillies. The fillies this year, 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, seem to have got the running on the boys as well, don't they? If you're a punter or if you're even a jockey, you're getting back on her. You're thinking, please just be back. Can they come back after finishing lame? I was lucky enough to speak to Aidan O'Brien yesterday, and he told me something happened in the stalls. When was the last time he said that? City of Troy.
Yeah, a lot. I'm a big Bedtime Story fan, and they're trying to make her do something different so that they're not wasting energy in runs. You know, they can't keep running her like when she won at Royal Ascot. They've got to try and make her have a different trick or two, and they've been working hard on that. I didn't get the last run. It looked to me as experience with what I had, that maybe she'd grown and gone weak more than it was something else. I hope I'm wrong.
Too bad to be true, obviously. Graeme, anything to add?
I don't know what to make of her after the last run. I think that's the piece of form. I think it was a really good race, wasn't it? Lake Victoria, of course, came out and won last week, and then we've got Simmering in here, was third, was she? Or second, exactly, was third, and the Bedtime Story was fifth. I thought with Johnny the Judge offering us 3 places, I thought Exactly was progressing quite well. We've got Super Sumi, you've got double figure odds there. I think 3 places each way Exactly could run really, really well. I think it could run really, really well under Super Sumi. However, I mean, going back to Zaragana, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to get. I
Zaragana.
keep getting it wrong.
Now, I mean, this looks something really special. I mean, I was lucky enough and old enough to be there when Zarkava won at this meeting as a juvenile. And I remember Zarkava that day. She was so good. I was like, wow, what is this? And she went on to dominate as a 3-year-old and eventually win the art, didn't she? And this one looks like he's got a similar sort of potential, doesn't
Yeah.
she? So,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm really excited to see Zaragana. I think Zaragana will win, but I'll be backing Exactly each way for the place with Johnny the Judge offering us very generously 3 places.
And very generously, tips on if you want to be with the Fab. Now, let's just concentrate on the Fab slightly. It was her debut that blew everyone away. She just, sometimes it's your eyes, Seb, right? And
Yeah.
forget what the clock says, all that sort of thing. She was just in a completely different planet. She backed it up last time as well. This is the natural stepping stone. It's the trial for it. She's in 5. Bedtime Story's in 10. We know a low draw historically is better at Longchamp as well. This isn't going to get beaten, is it?
Look, I'm on Zaragana's side. I think she's on the upgrade. I think we've seen something very special last time at Longchamp. I'm expecting her to back that up. Bedtime Story, look, she's very special. They're 2 very special animals. I'm expecting them to pull clear. I'm expecting Zaragana to be in front.
Johnny Dineen, you've been listening to all this. What do you got to say?
Yeah, look, I thought Bedtime Story would like kind of put up what I'd like to call a kind of a super equine performance in Ascot, and its next 2 runs looked to be just they were slightly regressive. I'd have thought she wasn't even that impressive at very short odds there one of the days. And the last day, I got plenty of opposition to her too. I thought, no, okay, she made the running and she might have run a bit free or whatever, but that was a fair contest. But she was well put in her place. And after that, they said they were going to that she might have enough done, and now she appears in here again. It smacks of an afterthought to me, and I wouldn't fancy her at all in this race in a Bedtime Story. And if this French horse, I don't know nothing about French form. I've seen it run. I couldn't honestly tell you anything about it, to be honest. But if the French filly is as good as fellas are saying, then she'll take out Bedtime Story. No question. I wouldn't fancy Bedtime Story if the French horse didn't run anyway, to be honest. The way she ran the last day, I wouldn't be back in Bedtime Story again in a hurry anyway.
There you go. So we're not sure what to do with bedtime story. Are you? Johnny says I am. Put it in the bin. All right, Zaragana wins. We could be seeing proper classic horses here. All right, that's the first race tomorrow. Now, before we go to the Lagardère, of course, at 1:30. 1:30, yeah, this is where the Colts come out, the 2-year-olds. Always another fabulous race, this. Rosalian last year, of course. It's time, because we're generous, because William Hill are thinking we're so good with these boosts, we've got another one. Who's going to get beat here, Johnny the Judge?
Yeah, we're keen to take on Henri Matisse here. We're going to go 7-2 from 11-4. We didn't like that effort at the Curragh last time. I think when it got tough, he threw the towel in. So we're going to take him on and we're going to go 7-2.
Love it. You will not be 7-2. There you go. Let's stick with Johnny Dineen here then. Henri Matisse last time was expected to win, John, wasn't it? Looked like he was going to be your Henry Adams or maybe even your City of Troy at one point. It's fair to say the shine came off him. First time blinkers.
Yeah, look, you can see why the blinkers are on. He did look a bit of a dodge even the day he won. He was in front and he jinked out to the left, and he certainly looked like one the last day. And it was no surprise, I think, to many that he did what he did, and he looked a proper mutant to me anyway. I wouldn't be going with him anyway.
A mutant?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Blimey, that's a new one, even by Johnny's standards. I mean, he's got 1112 next to his name. He's got the Ballydoyle colours on. He's Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore. He's drawn in 3, and we're all taking him on. Seb.
He's either gonna bolt in or he's gonna jump out the back of the TV. I think he's a very talented horse. I'm not surprised they put the blinkers on. And he never really had a race last time. He did everything bar win. So look, he's obviously very talented. If the blinkers work and they get a good run out of him, and me personally, when I rode horses first time with blinkers, I didn't like making the run in because they never really jump as quick as they normally would because they've got the pieces.
Is it to help them at the end of the races, really, blinkers?
Just get them going in a straight line and maybe help the jockey to travel into the race a bit better. But they never seem to jump that quick. And for me, when they had blinkers on first time, the last thing you want to do out the stalls is give them a G up. And I think they'll ride him very cold and try and dish it up late. And the Lagardère is the second winning post. And jockeys can get caught out going a little bit too soon. I remember Deleuze waving his hands. I think it was in the Lagardère, and
you see it all the time.
Yeah, it was horrible. But
not quite Worcester, but
the second winning post will really help him in this race.
Okay, all right. Henri Matisse, I'm not quite sure. He's either going to win or come last. What do you like as a bet?
I'm going to go with Henri Matisse. I think he's the best horse in the race.
Okay.
And you know, I struggle seeing anything beating him, to be honest.
You're getting 7-2 about Seb's tip then in the Lagardère. Doesn't like bedtime story in the first. Happy to go with the class angle here. We've got Field of Gold in the race, of course. Big moment this for the Gosdens. They've been bemoaning the lack of 3-year-olds for Field of Gold, a Solario winner. The form has been boosted, of course, and this could be their next classic horse. You're going to get 3-1 at the moment with Hills. I think that's about to say, is it? Field of Gold, no, 11-4. That's been trimmed in, and Rashabar, he's been trimmed in as well. I spoke to Brian Meehan about this guy yesterday. Now, I don't know what's going on at Brian Meehan's. It must be something transitional because his numbers are down the last 2 years. If you look at it just as a block of numbers, 20s, in the 20s, I think 9 last year, 7 so far. However, he has had a Royal Ascot double. He's got JRB running in the dollar at 4.35, fancied Sean Levy on today to beat Anne Marty's on the drift and My Prospero. And then we've got this guy, Rashabar, who a lot of people thought was a bit of a fluky Coventry winner. Third start, 80-1, far side on his own. That form's working out. And he ran very well in the morning. And that's a race Brian's won twice before. Does anyone like Rashabar?
No.
Not at all.
The problem I have with Rashabar is the trip. I see him more as a 6 furlong horse. I thought his tactical speed in Deauville was very good. I thought he was an upgrade on what he'd done at Royal Ascot, to be fair. And
there's a lot of stamina on the dam side. Is that a Camelot Dam, like River of Stars, that sort of family?
He just looks like a thick-set horse.
Okay.
And I just worry about that extra couple of furlongs. 7 wouldn't put me off as much as a mile.
He's talking about the Breeders' Cup for him as well, potentially, and he's fresher than most. Field of Gold?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to decide who's the most talented horse in the race naturally, if you know what I mean, because I think that Field of Gold has looked really, really exciting, hasn't he, on his run so far, particularly at Newmarket. I was there that day, he blew me away. And then he was impressive at Sandown in a race where Gosden's run loads of good juveniles before in the past. However, I do think that the lads are being a little bit harsh on Henri Matisse. I know that he has looked a bit of a mutant, as Johnny puts it, but you know, he has got an awful lot of ability. I mean, hey, to run the races that he's doing it all the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, he must have a huge amount of talent. There's a big engine in there. If they can get him right, if these blinkers work, I think the 7-2 that Johnny the judge is offer is going to look absolutely massive.
Yeah, there'll be a horse here, by the way, in the race, guys. A really good race. It's called Misunderstood, who's unbeaten in 2 starts. He won on the same day as Zaragana in the Colts trial coming here. Remember seeing that. He absolutely hosed up. He's having his first run for El Sakab. Alexis Pouchan on from 7. He will be a lot shorter on the PMU come this time tomorrow. So, Johnny, you don't like Henri Matisse. Is there one that you might lean towards? A good betting race.
Yeah, look, I don't know enough about the likes of Misunderstood and Hugh Couture, whatever you like to call it. Field of Gold to me is a good horse. Whether he's a top horse, I'd be wondering. I don't think he is. I agree with Seb about Rashabar. The stamina is an issue for that. I personally wouldn't back any of the front 3 in the betting. I'd be leaning towards maybe looking for an outsider, maybe something like, if Misunderstood is a good horse. I honestly don't know, but maybe something like Cowden, the county could run well here at 20-1.
All right.
But Henri Matisse is a horse that's going to be difficult to win with, I think. It's going to have to be dropped on the line. I know they're going to be ridden, definitely going to be ridden like to come with a late run. But on what I saw in the Curragh, he's not going to be an easy guy to win. Maybe the blinkers will work. I don't like blinkers on 2-year-olds anyway, to be honest. I wouldn't back him.
I'm glad that you mentioned Coward of the County there. I was with him when he won in France. A massive price that day. And I remember I backed him in the commentary, and I just think soft ground and this sort of drill might suit anyway. And Joseph O'Brien's having a fabulous time at the minute. What a race that is. We've got to move on. And it's like equine bingo to some people. If you're at the track, you need a sat-nav to find the Abbey course and distance. It's somewhere in the middle of the track. I was actually there in 2019. I gave up. I couldn't actually find it.
What's that?
At the Abbey. I was like, where is everyone going? I didn't have a clue. It's like going to the cross country's easier at Cheltenham.
It's like being in a different country when you're riding it.
Yeah.
Because you're so far away from the grandstand.
So Mark's won it, of course, hasn't he? Of course, Marsha and, you know.
Yeah, but at Chantilly.
Oh, yes, of course. All right.
But Chantilly's similar, actually. Because
So he couldn't find it either.
You actually go past the grandstands at Chantilly.
You do.
And
a lot of people get... I mean, that's a winning line catch out, isn't it? The cameraman gets caught out there. All right, this is a really, really tough race, but we have got the sprinter of 2024. No matter what happens here, surely Bradsell is crowned, isn't he, Johnny the judge? And you've got him and his old rival Believing. And then I guess if you look down to no half measures, what he might be improving for Richard Hughes, he hasn't got their level of form. But as we see, this is a race where they can go like Dodgems and throw up a result.
It is. This is certainly a race to watch on TV. I've been to Longchamp a few times, and you don't even know if they've started or if they've finished. They're usually behind the car park as well, so it's a race to watch on TV. Bradsell is the 11-4 favourite. I've crossed that river too many times this season. He's a fantastic horse, and drawn in the middle, he should be okay. Believing 7-2, she's going to get shuffled back quite far back. They're all going to get onto that far side rail. It's always a little bit of a schmozzle in the Abbey. I think there is one here, though, a really big price. Desperate Hero is 25 to 1 in a place. A little bit of 33 and 40 is evaporated. I thought he shaped really nicely at the Curragh on the far side where you don't want to be. He's drawn low. I could see him outrunning his odds. We're playing 4 places here, so I think you need all of the 4 places.
Desperate Hero gets a mention every time he runs in this studio. Of course, he was a non-runner at Newbury last time. We thought it might be the ground, despite the fact he's ever ground winner. He was off his feed that day, so he's back. That's a big prize. Seb, low is towards the stand side. It is a mad race to watch, isn't it? What's going to come out on top?
Believing's the first time it's had a draw. It was drawn out in the country at York and drawn out in the country at the Curragh last time. It's the first time it's had the draw and been on the right side of Bradsell. I think if Believing turns up, will win.
Yeah.
It's got the draw. Bradsell's drawn out in 12, is it? Or 9 or 12? 9.
9, yeah.
So, there's the pace angle. It's a lot to do for a horse with speed to come from that draw to make the run in at Longchamp. It's a really tricky track. You have to be drawn low to get a good seam into the race. And I think Believing has got every box ticked this time, and it's been so unlucky with the draw. In the Nunthorpe, it was drawn in double figures. At the Curragh, it was down the far side and come out. I think it's time for Believing to put its head in front
and get that Group 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that Johnny might have something to say about Believing after the Flying Five last time, but I'm quite impressed that you got no phone, you got no notes, and yet you knew where Bradsell was drawn. It's not all cobwebs up there, is it?
I think he's drawn out of it. That's why. I think he's too wide. Personally, I
He
think
just
he's too
wins.
wide.
He's an unbelievable. He was the boost last time, wasn't he, on the show?
This is one of the biggest draw races in the season, and he is drawn right on the cusp, I think, of being too wide. I couldn't have him on my mind, especially at the end of a long season. I mean, there's no doubt about it that his number one aim this year was the Royal Ascot on York, and this is not an afterthought, but he's definitely already peaked, I think. So I'll be dead against Bradsell. And the one that I like is Starlust, who was third behind him at York, ran really well that day. I think he's peaking at the right time, this all Starlust, and it's got a good draw installed too. If he can run the same race that it ran at behind Bradsell from this draw here, I think it must be in the three or four even, Johnny the Judge. Giving us 4 at double figure odds.
We might need
that's
it.
A massive price.
If you're a Rafe Beckett fan, you're looking at stall 3 for Starlust. That's probably has got a big in it. Clive Cox, of course, he's come back onto the scene, Clive, after something of a quiet period. Winners all over the place at Newbury, etc. Recently, you've got Kurdos Low as well. Again, Johnny Dineen, Believing last time out. Are you still going to give it another chance, or?
Yeah, look, what Seb said is exactly what I actually thought, to be honest. I do think this is his time. Like, he's been in a lucky horse with draws. Hopefully he's not gone over the top or something like that he gets beat here. But I think he'll beat Bradsell this time anyway. From being in, it's like a greyhound drawn on the inside of another one that was drawn on the outside. It makes a huge difference in a horse race too. And I'd be going with Believing. He deserves to win one of these. Or she, or whatever it is, has the talent to win one of these.
It's not a mutant, John, this one.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, but she's like, she ran a corker in the Curragh from a bad draw, and she ran a blinder in York too. Look, I'd fancy her, but like it is a race of, it's going to be heads and necks. The horses everywhere in these kind of races, isn't it? And you, as Boy said earlier on, you won't even know whether you're winning or losing in this race half the time. But I'd go with Believing. I think this is her time, hopefully, anyway.
All right, great stuff. That is an early start, the first 3 races at Longchamp to go. Believe it or not, we've got another 3 coming away. And of course, we've got the naps, all that sort of stuff. Stick with us here on the Morning Post. Great to have you watching. Like and subscribe, please, guys. Get your thumbs up if you're agreeing with what the guys have said. And there's a lot of agreement going on. I thought after the dust up with Al Azi and Al Kareem, it was going to be, maybe tin hat time. But no. All good. We're seeing the ball big. It's time to do it in the Arc de Triomphe. It is, according to some people, the best race on the planet every year. Where do you stand with it? I asked at the top of the show, what wins the Arc? What is going to go off favourite? Johnny the Judge.
I suspect one of the French horses, by the time coming off with the PMU markets, I suspect either Luc de Vega or Soze will surely be favourite. I mean, the horse that we're laying at the moment is Los Angeles, isn't it? More the Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien factor. But this is a top price guarantee race and 4 places. So they were really treating punters here well. There's little bits and pieces for Al Riffer in the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks. That is our worst result ante-post. That was 66-1 at the start of this season, believe it or not. Whether the booking of your Takataki is a positive or a negative, I'm not so sure. Let the panel decide about that.
Who do you like, Johnny? Which one do you actually like personally? Come on, it's this sort of race. I could ask you for a top 3.
Shin Emperor will win for Japan. It'll beat Los Angeles in second, and Continuous will finish third. There you go.
Wow, all right, Shin Emperor. There's a lot of love for that. I'll just look back, of course, at the very famous fan video of Orfevre. Have you seen that, Seb? I'll show it to you afterwards. When Orfevre was going to win for Japan, comes there under Super Sumi, hangs across and gets done by Solomir, and the Japanese and all of Asia basically is backed it, but this one guy in particular. I think he had his short and curlies on it, didn't he? And it's a fabulous video. That if you can go and watch it, it's all over. I'll show it to you after the show. So Shin Emperor trying to finally get that moniker off the back. It's a brilliant race, this, isn't it? A lot of people saying it's to me, maybe not the classiest start, but with 5-1 the field, who should be favourite, Seb?
I think Los Angeles will be a lot shorter than that tomorrow. I was really interested with the draw, because the draw is crucial to the run of the race. And when Continuous got drawn where he did and where Los Angeles did, I think it sets up great for Aidan O'Brien. Obviously, I'm thinking Continuous is going to get in front of Los Angeles and dictate the race for them. And as we see with Frankie with Golden Horn, they won't be afraid of staying away from the pack for the first half mile of the race.
Brilliant, right?
And look, I think it sets up brilliantly for Los Angeles, and I think he'll have the first run on Chinemprez, and that will be the difference between winning and losing.
I think the moment they didn't go to the St Leger G with Los Angeles, you thought, okay, they're treating this guy slightly differently. Of course, Aidan had the stronger hold on that anyway. What did you make of his run in the Irish Champion? He's got a very, very similar 3-year-old campaign to Dylan Thomas, of course, the first winner for Ballydollar this race, who didn't run in it at 3, but it's a very similar 3-year-old campaign. He also won the Irish Champion Stakes before coming here. He does look a bit Dylan Thomasy, doesn't he?
He does look Dylan Thomasy, yeah. I was just funny, before you mentioned that was also I was thinking in my mind. He needs
He
to
calls them the
improve.
Coolmore clones.
Yeah.
So he thinks they're all the same.
Well, they're all the same, aren't they? And this is another one. It'll be a sad day for racing if another Coolmore clone wins, won't it? But it might well, I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, he's a sort of big, slow galloper, lolloping
He's
thing.
big and slow.
Big and slow.
He only got beat a
galloping.
length in the Irish Champion.
Yeah, big and slow galloper. All he does is stay,
Yeah, but that's all you might need to win this year's arc.
super tough. They're all super tough.
Should mention the ground here, guys. It's good to soft there-ish at the moment, but rain on the horizon tomorrow.
Nothing flashy about him, though, is there?
No, there isn't.
There's no sort
Not
of like
yet.
nothing get you excited, is there? Not like there's a few horses about like economics.
But
Calandagan, they get you excited. See, you're trying to get you excited.
hang on, you got Economics. You only got beat a length by Economics.
Yeah, but
And
economics has got the X factor, Seb, hasn't he?
Economics.
This has not got an X factor, has he?
No, come
He's
on.
dull. He's dull, Seb.
Seb echoing every punter across the land right now. This is what you wanted, isn't it? And finally, your voice via Seb Sanders in this studio with Graeme Rodway. So you don't like Los Angeles.
no,
Is he
sorry.
the lay of the race?
No. I didn't say I don't like him. I mean, I think he can win. But he's just a dull horse and he's boring, I mean, if he wins, it's just a bore fest.
So that race at York didn't do anything for you when he beat Illinois, giving it away.
No, that was just free Galileo.
I have to say that
boring
didn't really float
clones.
my boat as
it
well
was
for
dull.
not wanting to go in bed with you at all. But
It was dull.
yeah.
Well, that puts him about 3 or 4 lengths in front of the Ledger meet.
Yeah.
So when you look at his form, and then in Ireland with Ghostwriter, his form is rock solid.
They know that Ledger horses don't come here and win the Arc as well. I mean, Continuous run well in it. Kingston Hill ran well in it. It's a long time since.
But
it
should Subway not have beaten him in Ireland in the Irish Derby? I mean, I thought
he outstayed him.
I thought he was giving a very average ride.
Subway got a horrible draw.
No,
didn't they,
I mean,
Chris?
I agree with you. When he won in Ireland, I thought Ryan was the difference. But the last 50 yards in Ireland, this horse really got on top. And they weren't bad sorts, ambiently friendly, Sunway and also, was it Roger Varians, was it?
His name escapes me.
Yeah.
The last Shaker Bay.
But his last 50 yards in Ireland showed he stayed extremely well. But he has been improving on every stepping stone this year.
It's a tremendous race, isn't it? Let's go to Johnny Dineen, who again has been waiting in the wings here. And John, we're talking about really Coolmore here, Continuous. When you saw the draw for him, did you think, well, this has got pacemaker all over it? Of course, he was 5th last year in what some people are saying a classier arc. And LA, as people are calling him, Los Angeles. Of the two, it's got to be Los Angeles, right? Is it a pacemaking thing? Does he win?
Look, it's very hard to fancy Continuous now the way he ran in at the trials meet, but maybe the trials were some of these trials I think were taken a bit too literally. Like the French horse that won the French Derby, like he mustn't have been nowhere near ready to go that day he ran anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the trials form was turned on its head at this meeting anyway. To be honest, I don't really fancy Continuous. I couldn't fancy him. I don't really fancy Los Angeles either. To be honest, I just think that he's a good horse without being a superstar horse. If anything, I think this is a fairly decent race, and like even Los Angeles, I actually backed him each way in the Champion Stakes, and he was coming to be third, and the Japanese horse like came from behind him and passed him for third. Like I think that's probably as good as he is, Los Angeles. I know that was 10 furlongs. This is 12. But even winning the Irish Derby and beating Illinois, who couldn't even win the Ledger. I know he's given a £3 a Great Vulture. Like it's very good form, but is it like arc winning form? I'd suspect it isn't. I'm thinking a French horse will probably win this. I don't really fancy many of the English or Irish horses, to be honest. I think I'd be going with something like Luke de Vega. He looked a really, really good horse at the start of the year, and I'd say he's trained specifically for this. Like, there's some really bad prices in this race. It's very hard to fancy Bluestocking and Al Rifa. Like, I think Johnny the Judge said that they went 66 to 1. I wouldn't back that 600 to 1 anyway. Al Rifa in this race. I'd give that. I couldn't see that how that can win this race anyway. And Bluestocking isn't far behind. I couldn't see that winning either. Even though it has a better chance than Al Rifa, I would give absolutely none.
Oh, I tell you what, the socials are going to love that, John. All right, so Luke de Vega, we'll get to him in a second, Johnny, because I think he's a good leader, of course. The Niel being the key trial, we think. Sosie in there, of course. You've got Delius in there as well. Delius, of course, another Coolmore horse for Jean-Claude Rouget, Ace Impact last year, and of course, Sosie, who came out on top from Monsieur Fabre, who's going for a record 9th win. Socials, I'm getting them through on my phone, guys. So Darren Walker, Darren, good to have you on as ever. After Delius won the maiden, I backed it for the Arc at 66 to 1. All the boys at Sky in the office, all the boys at the Racing Post, they're all on Delius. They love these Coolmore collars, don't they? Whenever it's trained by anyone else but Aidan. You've got Sosie, says Tommy Daniels, job done easy. You've got Huck FC 1997. Sosie batters these, he says. And Mikey boy, Sosie should at least place. Let's concentrate on that Niel form. You said Los Angeles already. Do you think Sosie is this typical slow-burning Fabre piece? Because, of course, he was beaten by Luc de Vega comprehensively in the French Derby. Does he uphold that form?
I think Sosie beats Luc de Vega. I don't see anything wrong. He's a bit of a boring horse, but...
It's catching. It's catching.
No.
Careful.
Listen, he's a dour stayer, as I say.
Yeah.
He'll love the ground. I think the ground will be on the slow side. He'll love the ground. He stays extremely well.
Got the draw.
He's got the draw, and he's going to be bang there. He'll be in the first 4, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've got him on top, actually. I think, unlike Johnny, Luc de Vega is the horse that is eating at me because I don't like what I saw in that trial. He went from the front. I think he's a doubtful stayer, despite the fact everything on the damn side says mile 4 should suit. And he was Al Saccab. I can't have it that he wasn't fit. I cannot have it that he wasn't fit. Preserving that 1-1-1. If you listened to Gerard Mosse in the week on Sky saying the superstar should win, the shine came off there for me. Before the Niel, although it was a good thing for that, I didn't think he'd get beat. I think he won the Arc. So with a heavy heart, I am getting him out of my top 3.
I agree with Johnny actually on that. I actually think that Luc de Vega will reverse the form. So we're split down the middle on that
3
one, aren't we?
horses have won the Arc in the last 10 years without winning their prep run. Go, guys. Who was it? Let's come up with it. We did this earlier, Seb, didn't we? And it is a really good trivia, this, because you do forget.
How far are we going back?
Oh, no, in the last 10 years.
Oh, sorry.
Johnny, you can chime in here if you want.
I'm okay.
I'll help you, Sotsas.
Sotsas, right? He's
yeah.
perhaps the key one of these, of the 3, because when Sotsas won, do you remember, heavy ground, and it was a mess of a race, wasn't it, Seb?
Crawl round. Crawled round.
Is there pace tomorrow?
Well, I think Continuous will put the pace into it for Los Angeles, because Los Angeles will need every yard of this to compete at this level.
I think we need Continuous to do it, don't we?
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah.
I think Bluestocking will be bang there as well. I don't think they'll be afraid of pushing the buttons on her, because they'll know she stays.
If the rain comes, I can see her shortening whether you like her
I
chance
think
or
she'll
not.
run really well, but if she's able to win, it'll be another dull winner, wouldn't it? I mean, she's
You're struggling, aren't you? This is the best racing all year, and everything's dull.
There's no
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah.
There's no outstanding horse in there.
You are struggling.
They're all dull. They're all boring. No, the one.
struggling for years.
No, the one horse who isn't boring to me, anyway, is the Japanese horse who Johnny, the judge, has already mentioned. I mean, if there's one result that I think would blow the roof off a Longchamp this weekend, it would be Shin Emperor winning this for Japan, and they deserve to win it. So many heartbreaks down the years, from Nakayama Festa to Orfevre and Deep Impact, and this might be the one. It's bred to win an Arc, isn't it? Brother to Sotsas, and I thought it was a massively eye-catching prep in the Irish Champion.
They said he was 80% fit there as well.
All the talk before Leopardstown was this is not the day. This is not the day. This is not the day. The day is the arc. And he was a huge eye-catcher, knock your eye out eye-catcher, coming past Los Angeles late. I think he's the most likely winner, Shim Emperor. But, I mean, if we're worried about Colin Keane, we've got to be worried about Ryusei Sakai, have we not?
He didn't even have his phone. That's a round of applause, if nothing else. How did you get that right?
We've got to be worried about him. Is he any good?
He's a mutant, according to John, I think. So he's in the saddle, that's for sure.
If he can get it right, if Ryusei Sakai can get it right tomorrow on the big occasion, Shin Emperor is good enough to do it for Japan.
I know he's one of the greats, but I think I'd rather have him than Yutaka Taki these days, wouldn't you? I remember last time he came to the Shogun Cup, he didn't look good then.
How old's Yutaka Taki now? He's been around
he's getting on.
He was around when Seb was riding, and before.
He's got to be mid-50s. I mean, when I rode in Japan, he was king. He was the king out there then.
All right, okay.
And don't knock the Takataki. He's a brilliant jockey, especially in his homeland. A bit like Colin Keane is in Ireland.
A bit like G is in his living room. Absolutely. Listen, all right, okay, that's it. Yeah, we've got to move on. We've still got another 2 races to come, and the nap's coming your way. I hope you're enjoying it. Like and subscribe. 1, 2, 3's in the arc. Just before we move on, Johnny Dineen.
For the arc,
Yeah.
I'll chance Luke de Vega.
I asked for 1s and 2s and 3's, John.
Oh, sorry. I'll go with I'll go with that Niel race. Luke de Vega, Sozi, and Delius. Is it?
That's it. Lovely. A lot of people would be liking that. 1, 2, 3, Seb.
Oh, Los Angeles, Sozi, and Luke de Vega.
These are all clipped up, by the way. Yeah, go on, G.
I'm going to have Shin Emperor on top. I think Luke de Vega will run really well for second. And don't discount Someway. This all runs big races every time without winning. I think he'll be played somewhere at a big old price.
Oh, David will be watching this. You've tipped Tamfana and you're going for somewhere as well. He's loving it. Okay, for what it's worth, I'm Sozi Bluestocking. I think Fantastic Moon will run well as well. He's got a low draw this time. He's a better horse, and he's got Rennie Pitcherlook, the King of October. The front runner, Chris Cook, called him this week. He's absolutely fabulous. There is our top 3s. What are yours? Let's hear them. We'll try and get them out before the end of the show. We've got to move on, though, because it is the opera. We'll whittle through these guys. Johnny the Judge, let's bring you back in. Yalang, yalang. As soon as it was the Mount of Ryan Moore, this was the buzzer, right? And again, it's been building up to a biggie.
Yeah, I thought she was fairly eye-catching at Leopardstown. She was 7-2 joint favourite with Fallen Angel, who was obviously up in trip. Pond 10 at 11-2, potential sighter for Del Mar. 7-1 Sparkling Plenty. I'll just give a little word for start of day at double figure. I thought she could potentially hit the frame at a nice price.
All right, okay. Johnny Dineen, let's start with you here. Yalang, yalang. Were you expecting Ryan to take this? Because, of course, Content went into a lot of people's hearts when she won at York, despite pulling for her head throughout. Is that a massive negative for her, perhaps?
Yeah, look, it's a worry that Moore has gone for Lang over Content if you fancy Content. I was actually fancy Content, but Johnny Simpson could be right there, and it could be having a run for Del Mar. Lang hasn't impressed me at all this year in any race, to be fair. And look, I don't know. She's like a horse that's just below the cusp of being a real top class filly, and I'd be against her. Fallen Angel has to get the trip here, but if it did, it'd be the one to beat, I'd say, to be honest. That's the one. Friendly Soul is a horse that I couldn't fancy at 8-1 in it. That's a very weak 8-1 chance. Who'll probably struggle on this ground. I think it wants it like iron anyway, that thing. And I'd go maybe Fallen Angel, maybe in the hope that it does get the trip.
Yeah, classic winner, of course, for that man, Carl Burke. Wathenham Racing, of course, now, and James Doll coming out stall 2. That'll be good. Graeme, Rodway, come to you here. You've heard what Johnny's got to say. There are some bounce back horses in here, of course. Sparkling Plenty, it's just a project of mine. I'll be going for it. Start of day is interesting. Got Running Lion, of course. Royal Ascot winner. Where are we going?
Yeah, a few old friends in here, aren't there? And one of them for me is Hanalia, who I backed in the Irish Oaks, and I don't think she stayed the trip that day. Strangely enough, that race, which I didn't think was very strong beforehand, has actually worked out okay, hasn't it? With You Got To Me and Content coming out and winning the Yorkshire Oaks, was it, or one of them? So I think that horse is improving. It's back down to a mile and a quarter. Last 2 runs have looked a bit better. I think there's more to come from Hanalia for me at
All right, Hanalia, Fallen Angel. We're talking about Irish form here. Seb Sanders.
I'm going to stick with Content. I think she showed enough class at York.
Yeah.
I think the ground will be more in her favour. And Stace, I mean, she did everything wrong at York.
Yeah.
And still won. So
All
I'd
right.
go with Conte.
All right, okay, that's the opera over the mile 2. Seb, cough it up. Go on, you get it out. He's probably missing his cigarette break, I can tell you that much. We usually have water in here, but the producers have been so content on our content, they've not done it. Right, it's the 7 furlong Group 1 that we get to enjoy each year in Europe. It's the foray coming up. I'll tell you what, Johnny the Judge, I have been over at Longchamp thinking there's been good things in this race. I've seen them knocked about like dominoes. It can be very, very rough. And here we've got Kinross bidding to atone for defeat in the race last year, if you like. You've got Tribalist, who's surely just going to wear his heart on his sleeve and go out for Monsieur Fabre Godolphin. And a lot of people expecting Ramatoy to bounce back here. What does the market say?
Yeah, it's fairly quiet at the moment. I just want to put to the panel, this race looks to have the potential to be a right burn-up. Tribalist, Big Rock and Matilda Picot all have got one way of going. So I would look for a horse here who could sort of sit mid-division, hopefully avoid a bit of trouble. As you say, it's a big field. So I think you need a lot of luck here. We're playing 4 places and you probably will need them.
You probably will need them. All right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we're on the clock now, guys, and we're going to get through this with a bit of pace, but what an absolute belter this is. My heart sank when Flora of Bermuda got stall 18. It's a horrible draw, that Seb 7, isn't it? She was a whopping eye catcher in the Haydock Sprint Cup. Tom Siegel's put her up in price-wise for the Champions Sprint. He's also put up Big Rock here as well for Champions Day as well. Yeah, indeed, it's that sort of race. Stall 18 came out, forget about it. Oshley Murphy's going to have to be a
As
wizard.
soon as the gates open, half the field are out of the race.
Yeah.
I like Tribalist. I know it's drawn 12. It's going to go forward. I know there's pace in the race. But, don't overlook what he did last time.
Could argue this is its optimum trip as well.
This
They
is
ran him
its
over
optimum
6,
trip.
didn't they?
Beat Charin. Admittedly, people were critical of the Charin's ride. But at the same time...
Wasn't a lot he could do, was there?
At the same time, Tribalist beat a very, very strong field. I think it's straightforward, and I know it's drawn 12, but its style of running will overcome that draw.
Yeah, all right. And the producer doing what you're hoping Al Arzi will do and arrive late with some water for you on the line. just when he doesn't need it, Sam Hart's come in and it's all too late. He's just, he's back on the bridle. This could be a big moment for Mikel Barcelona as well, because you've probably read the news that Mikel's saying goodbye to Godolphin and hello to His Highness the Aga Khan, of course. Again, make of that what you will with the Boussac in mind. Before we go to Johnny Dineen, G, just quickly, what wins the foray?
Burke hit the bullseye, I think. That's what it is, isn't it? What we're going with? Burke's bullseye? Poet Master.
What happened last time? Because I was so keen on it.
I know, but it was
He's in one.
It was a big step up, and I'm not entirely sure that track would have been ideal for him. I think round the bend here from stall 1, he'd be able to travel away in behind those leaders who are going to go off quick, like Johnny says. Obviously, going to be guess up whether he gets the run, isn't it? Sam Jones is going to be praying for room when they do fan out of Longchamp, don't they?
They give the railway far too easy. It never used to be.
Well, do you remember
like
Frankie in the race last year couldn't get out in time, could he, on Kinross? So loads of people screaming blue murder at the telly when that happened.
And I think, didn't Maxine Gill knock a few over to win the race?
I'm trying to remember the name of the horse in the Golden Cova colours when I went there. And I thought it was an absolute good thing in the meeting.
I don't see
run.
Kinross out of 3. I know he won at Doncaster last time on ground that he's not ideal for him. It's going to be ideal tomorrow. I don't see him out the 3. He's got a great draw. What's he drawing? 2?
Yeah. The market's alive to the draw.
He won't waste any energy getting his position.
Yeah.
Look, for me, he is, the candidate to be favourite in the race.
Yeah.
Because he'll get a good toe round.
But Tribalist on top.
I'm just going to go Tribalist on top. I thought that was a really good performance last time.
That's your top trump. Poet Master, what does Johnny Dineen like in our final preview race on this extended morning post?
Look, I think I might try Ramatui, maybe. Just the fact that she's an out-and-out 7 furlong filly, I'd say. Just couldn't, barely got about 7.5, or didn't quite get the mile a few times. Like, her top-class form with Porta Fortuna tied in. I'd certainly respect the second favourite, or the other one the other one in the betting. But I just think 3-year-old, she's been kept fresh for this. And okay, the other one looked good back at York the last day, but I just think Ramatouille may have more upside against the older brigade, and I think I'd go with her over Kinross.
She's in 6, and she'll love the potential pace to burn up that Johnny, the judge, alluded to. Big Rock, what are we expecting here? All right, great stuff. That's Saturday. That is Sunday done. Well done for sticking with us through it. What fun we've had, and hopefully we're giving you some punting pearlers as well. I haven't got the running order up on my... yeah, we're going straight for the best bets. Straight for the best bets. You'll be delighted to hear. And can I get mine over the line this weekend? Let's get them up, and Johnny the judge can talk us through them. Naps incoming. We should have plenty for you. I know, once again, I'm at the top. They're trolling me.
Yeah, so we've got for myself, Relief Rally 6-4. For Seb, Al-Azi 15-8. For Johnny, Apples of Brazil, that's even money. For Rodders, Tamfano 100-13. That's a good bet. And then for yourself, Northern Express 9-2.
Northern Express, one of the eye catchers of the Air Gold Cup, gets up to 7. Northern Ticker might win the big one at Redcar. This is the best bet of the day. I'm getting that 7-2. This is my one of getting over the line. Al-Azi?
Al-Azi, yeah.
You're getting a price as well?
Yeah, look, I think he's massively overpriced. I think he's a good few pound ahead of everything in the race.
Yeah, and you're getting tips on about Apples of Brazil, Johnny Dineen.
Yeah, that's fair odds. I mean, it'll take some beating at the same time.
Brilliant. All right, that's a tidy little acca with Tamfana stuck in there as well.
Yeah, that'll win somehow.
I wish you well.
Thank you,
And
Dave. I
mean
wish
that.
you will. You need it.
You do you? I do need it.
Well, I'm just going to enjoy a boring weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a Cornwall clones all over the
If it's
place.
Cornwall clones all the week.
Here's the question to end the show, and I'll ask you guys out there as well. Where are you watching the Arc tomorrow? Johnny Dineen, where will you be watching it? Will you be going, I don't know, you could be in an airport, John. You like to have a bet in there.
I'd expect to be at home watching it. I'd imagine I will anyway.
Yeah.
I'd expect to be at home watching it, I'd say.
All right, brilliant. Johnny, always an absolute pleasure. Happy hunting, man.
Cheers, all the best, boys. Good luck, lads. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Johnny Dineen, legend of Irish punting, bookmaking, racing, and of course here at the Racing Post as well. Johnny the Judge, great to have you for another week in succession. Good luck with Relief Rally. This could be a day in the Rouse Stakes.
Yeah, I hope so. It's it's a favourite in a sprint. It's a fairly boring selection, but I think she was the most likely winner. Busy weekend. I'll be preparing next year's Arc betting shortly after they cross the line. So I wonder if I'll be having this wonder filly in Zaragana.
Yeah, we might well be. You'll be cheering on Tamfana as well, because a reminder, guys, the boost on this Saturday, of course, is a double Dutch of the Gosden horses in the, of course, Sun Chariot. And the last time they boosted in Spiral, it got across the line. Seb Simon, it's great to have you with us again.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, isn't it? You've sat next to the bear and
I know.
He's not dragged you down.
I'm learning all the time. There's an umbrella at Ascot. There's boring racing.
But you did agree.
And there's Cornwall clones.
And there's Cornwall clones. All right, gee, fantastic. It's been a pleasure to do these morning posts with you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's been a good day. Looking forward to it. Great racing tomorrow, isn't there,
Yeah.
at Longchamp?
Where will you be watching it?
Home, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
Seb?
crossed.
At home, yeah.
I'll be in the boozer, don't worry about that. Big old screen, let's get it on, all right?
What are you watching? What football match?
No, there'll be no football tomorrow, Seb Sanders. There'll be no Seb Sanders. Villa are playing, but we don't worry about that. Right, okay. Loads of racing to aim at. A reminder, pick your targets wisely, guys. All the sport out there from us here at the Morning Post. Enjoy it.